Hey guys, welcome to the Entrepreneur Motivation Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Bello, and today is laundry day. So if you can hear my washing machine in the background, I do apologize, but trying to multitask. Today's episode is about me time. Are you taking enough me time? And me time, like time for yourself to relax, to recharge, to do something that inspires you? Are you actually doing those things? I've mentioned on many episodes that I'm always working nonstop. When I'm bored and I'm not sure what to do, I just watch a YouTube video on something that it is that I want to learn, or I answer emails, or I always find creative work that needs to be done. And I'm sure you can relate. There's an endless checklist of things to do. Your to-do list is always growing. And if you do have nothing on your to-do list, if you are serious about growing a business or whatever it is that you want to do, whatever it is that you love, if you want to get better at that, you're going to find a book to read, a YouTube video, tutorial to watch, a course to take. There's always stuff that you can do to fill that time. But the downside of that is that you can also start to become so obsessed with it that you can never turn your mind off. And I have this issue as well, where sometimes I'm like, man, how do I just turn the switch off in my mind so I can relax? I try to think back to the days when I had the 9 to 5, and after 5 o'clock I would check out because I knew, okay, I'm done for the day. My meetings are done. All my deliverables are done. I don't have to do anything until tomorrow's meeting at 10 a.m. or, whatever the case was for the corporate role. But now I always have a deliverable. I've got clients that message me at all hours of the day, asking questions, following up, other people in transactions that I'm involved in. The work never stops. And with this device that we have in our pockets and in our hands all the time, the cell phone, we've got constant notifications of people trying to get our attention, calling us, texting us, emailing us, Instagram message, Facebook Messenger, Snapchat. If for those who still use it, I occasionally post on there a few times just because I do have some friends on there who still use it pretty frequently. But we have all these things vying for our attention, and we've got limited time in the day, and we want to make sure we're productive and answering to people and all that stuff. But it's important to actually step back at times and take some me time, take some time to recharge, take some time for yourself. I was fortunate enough to, at my brokerage office, get July Agent Spotlight Award or something. They posted about me on Facebook. I guess I'm an up-and-coming star in the office. I'm not sure exactly what the criteria was, but they reached out and told me that they were going to do a spotlight thing for me and asked me to answer some questions, which was kind of cool. Let me see if I can pull it up. I did take a screenshot and share it on my social media and stuff, or I reshared their post about me. Okay, here is what they said. We are excited to honor Chris Bello as our July Agent Spotlight. He is a brilliant agent who has a rapidly growing business and a podcast for entrepreneurs. We are so glad to have him as part of our KW Memorial family. And that's my brokerage office. So these are the questions. When did you start real estate? My answer, I got into investment real estate in May 2018 and got licensed in June 2019. What is your big why/inspiration for being in real estate? My big why is to help clients get what they want while also getting what I want. Flexibility and control of my schedule to some extent. What is your favorite area of Houston to work in? I put here, I love the Memorial and Heights area. Those are pretty close to my house. And honestly, I really want to start becoming more involved in those areas because I am still kind of going all over town and I want to make sure I get very focused. But here's the part that I wanted to highlight for you is that they asked me, what is your favorite hobby? And I put that my favorite hobby is exercising. Now, I love to exercise. I'm a big fan of working out and just getting the blood pumping, but that's not really a hobby. I'm not a power lifter. I'm not a cross-country guy. I'm not like a marathon runner. I don't care to do any of those things. I just like to move my body and get the blood flowing. And it was kind of sad to me that I put exercising as my favorite hobby as I was reading this, because I'm like, that's not really a hobby. It's something that we love to do, many of us, and some of us take it more seriously than others. And, play tennis or intramural games or whatever. But anyway, I'm going to come back to this point in a second. Let me answer the rest of these questions. Why did you choose KW Memorial? I said I knew several top agents here. And of course, I wanted to surround myself with greatness. And that ties into my message of get around the people you want to be like, because they will help you become more like them just through osmosis, through being next to them and watching what they do. And then what tools at KW Memorial have helped your business grow? I mentioned the training. The training really helped me to skill up quickly. And also the network and resources have been very helpful. And I said, I can quickly get personal answers or personal questions answered by other agents or my coach. So those were my answers. But anyway, I wanted to highlight that because it's kind of cool that I got this award. And when I shared it on my Facebook, it got over like 160 likes and hearts and wows and all that good stuff. And it even got me a lead because it showed social proof and it showed expert status. And someone who saw that and realized, like, whoa, I know Chris just got his license a year ago, but like, dang, he's killing it. He must know what he's doing. He must be doing a great job. She might have been on the fence about me, or she might have been thinking about going with another realtor. And she actually DM'd me in response to that post saying, hey, congrats, how have you been? I'm looking to buy a house in this part of Houston. Would you be interested in helping me? And I'm like, heck yeah, of course I would. Why would I say no, right? So that's the power of the social proof and just expert status, is that the perception of me knowing this stuff got me a lead, and the expertise is allowing people to feel comfortable with actually reaching out to me, even though I am fairly new as a licensed real estate agent, relative to their mom's friend who's been doing this for 30 years, doesn't know how to send an email, but knows a lot about real estate. Anyway, back to the me time thing. Today is Sunday. I'm recording this the day before it goes live. And my girlfriend and I went to the beach. We went to this place called Galveston, Texas. It's like 45 minutes to an hour away from where we live. And we just relaxed there, spent some time in the sun, got in the water a little bit. It's definitely, it's like brown, gross water, not my favorite compared to Bali or Greece or all these places that we've been to before. But hey, it's an hour away. Can't complain too much. But the point here is that we wanted to just get away and just kind of relax and, step away from the work and from her school stuff and from answering emails and even from chores to an extent, because we usually find ways to keep ourselves busy. Saturday and Sunday is your catch-up day. You do laundry. Like I mentioned, my washing machine is running right now. I think it just stopped. You do laundry, you clean the house, you do some chores, maybe you get your groceries. And I keep on harping on the fact that I don't want to do any of these things. I hate all those things and I want to just pay others to do them. But I am still occasionally doing some of those things myself. I'll cook a meal, I'll get some groceries, I'll have some stuff here, even though I'm starting to integrate meal prepped food into my routine. But we stepped away today to take some me time and just relax, lay out in the sun. I read a book. I'm reading. I took a new book with me. If you guys are here, I brought the book called Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion with me. That is so far so good. I just started reading it. I am almost done reading Relentless by Tim Grover. This is an awesome book. I really resonate with a lot of the stuff that he talks in here. And I'm sure a lot of people, if you heard of him talking about this on other interviews, he talks about a cleaner. So there's a cooler, a closer, and a cleaner. And he talks about the differences between all of them. The cooler is basically the guy who just does the bare minimum. The closer is the one who comes in clutch at the last minute because he didn't perform the whole time. He can perform and close the deal at the end or make that winning shot. And the cleaner is the one like a Kobe Bryant, a Michael Jordan, who continues to win, to dominate, to crush the competition, and they don't celebrate that long because they're on to the next one. So those are some of the books that I'm reading, but it was nice to just take a book to the beach and relax and read. And I did look at my phone a couple times. I checked some emails, but at the same time, I spent a lot of time with my phone in my backpack, just reading, journaling, hanging out, kind of almost taking a nap on the beach, things that you do when you're in the sun and 100 degrees and you're just kind of relaxing and soaking in some sunlight. But a hobby I recently started to look into and kind of got pulled into is trail riding with like mountain bikes. And I didn't even know this stuff existed because Houston, it gets hot in the summer. There's a lot of pavement, it's a big city. From here to like where my parents live is like 30 minutes south. And then from here to where my girlfriend's parents live is like 30 minutes north. So Father's Day or Mother's Day or any of those things where we go to both families' houses, we're literally driving 30 minutes north, then an hour south, and then 30 minutes back home. And with something like that, it's like how much bike riding am I really going to do? You really need to get in your car. And I think that's probably a reason why one of the fattest cities or one of the fattest states or something is Texas. I don't know the statistics on that, but it makes sense because if you have to go like 40 miles to get anywhere in Houston, you're not going to really ride a bike there. You're going to take a car, motorcycle, or something like that. And we don't have great public transportation versus these other cities where you're walking and you're getting exercise in between. But a friend invited me to go trail riding. He had an extra bike and an extra helmet, and it was super fun. I didn't even know we had these trails in Houston. There's like places where you go, and they've got these dirt trails through trees, and it's all shaded so that it's not as hot in there. And you get a really good workout, cool adrenaline rush. You see nature. There's butterflies flying around, and there's flowers, and wasps and bees, and all these things that you kind of get to see and just ride through while getting a workout. I am so excited that I found this because honestly, recently I was journaling, and if you follow me on Instagram, if you don't, go to Chris Bello09 on Instagram and give me a follow, say hello, shoot me a DM or something. But I recently posted this thing. I'm showing it on my YouTube if you guys are looking. And it's a little excerpt from my journal of when I was sitting down and just writing down things that I would want in an ideal life balance. And here's some of the things that I put. Work 40 hours a week. And I know this is counterintuitive to what I keep saying of hustle and put it all on the line and go all in. Ideally, if I could have that work-life balance, I would want to work 40 hours a week and have systems and processes and people in place to do the extra 20 hours of work that I'm doing now. I'd like to just have other people do that so I can have 60 hours of output with only 40 hours of my own time. I'd like to take 2 vacations a year, and I put 2 weeks each, even though it would be great to build up to a month each and just take 2 months off a year. And then I wrote down, find a new hobby, learn a new language, meditate/do more yoga. And I've been meditating twice a day, 10 minutes each. I know some Spanish, like I've taken a ton of Spanish classes, but I'm not fluent really. I could use some practice, but I'd really like to even maybe learn another language eventually. And then find a new hobby. I was like, man, what is my hobby going to be? I talked about this before in a previous episode about when I wanted to find a niche website. I was trying to think of all the things that I love, and I was a little sad to realize that there was not a whole lot I could think of. I used to play the drums at one point. I still do, but I don't play like every day for 2 hours like I used to for years. And I mean, I started playing in 5th grade when I forget how old you are in 5th grade, but I played in band for 2 or 3 years. And then I had a drum set and I had bands that I played with, just, informal. We never really played shows or anything, but I kind of grew away from that. I don't really care to play my drums now. And so that was my biggest hobby. That was like my identity. It was like, oh, I'm a student and a drummer. I'm a college student and a drummer. And then I graduated and it was like, oh, I'm no longer a college student. I am an employee at this oil and gas company. And that became my identity. And now my identity is a podcaster and a real estate professional. And that was about it. I didn't really know what my hobbies were. And so now I'm starting to take more time to discover, what do I want to do on me time? Like if I need to recharge, if I want to just hang out and, have some fun, like what are the things that I want to do? And even yesterday evening, my girlfriend went to one of her friends' houses and one of my friends came over. We ordered some Chipotle. He brought his computer and we were playing Modern Warfare. I don't really play video games, but I played on the Xbox and he brought his PC and we just played and we had headsets and we could talk to each other even though we were right next to each other. And we literally played for like 3 hours in a row, which I have not done in years. I mean, I've had several days where I've played 4 hours straight in college, only getting up to get food or a beer. But after a few years ago, I stopped doing all that stuff. I just started working. I quit the corporate job. I severed a lot of those ties. And so I joined this lonely road of entrepreneurship where not a whole lot of people that I knew were doing a path like I was. And so we could no longer relate that well. And I felt like I was kind of on my own. And then I started to find more and more friends that are in these similar spaces to me. And now I'm starting to find that tribe, of course, again. But it was really cool to play that Xbox yesterday, to go to the beach today for 5 hours or 4 hours or whatever it was. And the day before yesterday, so what was it? Saturday morning, I went trail riding for 2 hours, but I was at a house 45 minutes from my house at 8 a.m. to meet an inspector out there, had to resolve some issues for one of my real estate transactions. So I still got my morning routine done that morning, and I usually sleep in until 7 or 8 on Saturdays and Sundays. but that required me, because I had to be there at 8 to get my routine done and to have enough time to drive there. I had to wake up at 6 on a Saturday, and I had gone to bed at like, midnight or 1 the night before, getting only 5 hours of sleep. And so I made a little bit of a sacrifice in my sleep, even though I didn't want to get up after only 5 hours of sleep. I did it. I made the thing happen for my work, my day job, my income generating thing. And then after that, I went trail riding with my friends. So I'm mixing my personal life with my professional life, the things I have to do with the things that I want to do. And what upset me a little bit about that 8 a.m. appointment is it was last minute. We got an inspection done on a house. The inspector got lightheaded actually in the attic because of the heat this week. And hey, I don't blame him. It's hot as hell out there. And apparently he lost his footing a little bit and he stepped on the wrong spot and he put a hole through the roof. And this is a house that my buyers are buying. They have it under contract and we're not even past the option period, which means that we shouldn't have done any damage to that house, and it's still seller occupied. So there was a little bit of drama there. This happened on Friday. So they wanted me to be there on Saturday morning when the inspector and the repair guy went out there to just babysit the project, because the sellers were out of town and the listing agent was busy with other open houses. So I had to sit there for 2 hours and the project was taking forever. And I was telling them I've got an appointment at 10. That's my hard stop. And the appointment, by the way, was riding bikes with my friends. Fortunately, I guess one of them was sleeping in or something a little bit, and they pushed it back to 11. So I was able to stay and supervise this project until 10:30-ish, and they luckily patched everything up. They patched up the little hole, and I was still able to go bike with my friend. And then that night, my other friend came over, and we played some video games. And then today, Sunday, my girlfriend and I went to the beach. So you can see how like this last few days was a lot of me time. It was a lot of recharging, of just checking out, of unplugging a little bit and trying to get those creative juices flowing. Because now that I did that, I had time to journal and to think like, what am I doing right now in my business? How can I do it better? Am I doing anything just like trying to force my way and make a result happen? That's just not the right way to do it. And what can I change? So this episode serves to just be a reminder to like kind of rediscover yourself and make sure you know what's that thing that lights you up and recharges you. Because just like a Tesla, like you can't just drive forever. You've got to recharge at some point. Your phone battery, it doesn't just last forever. The more you use it, the more phone calls and videos you watch and podcasts you listen to and videos you record, the more you do on your phone, the faster that it's going to die. And you're going to have to recharge it eventually. And sometimes that means recharging it even not even overnight. You might need to recharge it a few times during the day, especially if your battery is worn out. And when you do these things to recharge yourself, it's like replacing a phone, getting a new phone or a new battery, where your battery will just last longer and you'll feel better and your phone will just run smoother, your body will run smoother. And so I know these things, I know they're important, but it's sometimes easy to forget when you get caught up in the hustle and the bustle. So take your me time, identify those things that light you up, that recharge you. What are your hobbies? And really get a pen and paper and write them down. What are those things that you used to do when you were a kid that you no longer do, that you would still maybe love to do? And maybe spend some time doing that again, right? The coolest part was too, coming back from the beach, we were listening to, my girlfriend and I kind of started listening to some stuff on Spotify, and I was kind of feeling nostalgic. I was like, hey, let's play some like T.I. If anyone's ever heard of T.I., we started playing that, and then we played T.I. radio, and it just brought back all these songs that brought back memories from like 8th grade and high school for me, where I was listening to like, I don't know, Duro, like we listened to Ice Cream Paint Job, and I don't know, half of y'all listening to this are probably like, oh yeah, I know this song, and half of y'all are like, oh, Chris, you listen to that at some point? That's crazy, because I don't really listen to that much music anymore. I listen to mostly podcasts. But took the whole day to recharge, and I'm feeling great. I am a little tired now though, so I just wanted to make this episode for you to know that like, hey, you may see me just hustling and putting in the work and putting out these kinds of videos, and then I don't really show the stuff that I just did these last few days as much. And so to the outsider looking in, they may think like, man, I can't do those fun things. I got to work. But no, you've got to balance it. You've got to have that me time. You can have the fun and you can do the work. And it depends on what you want out of life. I'm willing to, and I interviewed Kevin Palmieri here recently, and I think he mentioned something about He takes Sundays off as best as he can because he wants to spend it with his family and his loved ones. And if that means he loses $1 million over the course of his life, so be it. It's worth it to him. And I love that because yes, you will make more money if you work every single Sunday, or if you have no sleep and no breaks, but at what cost? Is it worth it to you? And I want to create a life that I actually love living. I want lifestyle freedom. I want a lifestyle business, meaning I want to be able to go to the beach for 3 weeks in a row and travel and maybe go on a surfing trip with some friends and just not have to worry or be a slave to my business. I want to be able to leave the keys with someone who I trust and have it still run while I'm gone, where I can check in every few days. And so think about what's important to you. Make sure to prioritize those things. Don't try to just get to some salary number or income level before you do that, because you're never going to be able to integrate it. You have to be able to integrate it now at whatever level you're at. And then you will build that as part of your business, as part of your life, and part of your dreams. So with that being said, I hope you are all having a great week. I know it is the start of the week when you're listening to this. If you're listening on Monday, hope you also had a great weekend. Reach out, connect with me on Instagram, leave me a review, and make sure you're subscribed on YouTube as well if you have not checked it out on there. So thanks so much for listening. Talk to you on the next episode. Bye.